Hey guys, it's me again. Welcome to our 13th episode together. Lately, I've been feeling a little nostalgic. Honestly, my life right now is leaps and bounds better than when I was a kid. If you offered me a chance to go back in time, I'd pass in a heartbeat. But that doesn't mean I don't look back fondly on certain bits and pieces of my past. I remember when I was little, my mom and my aunt ran a convenience store together. They sold the kind of snacks and toys kids go crazy for. Since the shop was super close to a school, it naturally became a hangout spot for a group of regulars. Though calling them kids isn't exactly accurate, they were actually a bunch of high school guys. They were all really tall and built, and since I was just in kindergarten at the time, they looked like absolute giants to me. Because I spent so much time at the store, I got to know these older guys pretty well. They must have been around 5 feet 7 inches to 5 feet 11 inches, which, again, was huge to me back then, so I was actually a little intimidated by them. But they loved messing around with me, chatting with me, or pinching my cheeks. I remember one time, the guys said they wanted to take me to learn martial arts. I flat out refused. I hated anything that sounded like hard work, so I just hid behind my mom and refused to come out. You're probably wondering, why would a bunch of high schoolers know martial arts? Well, coincidentally, my mom later told me that after school, those guys practiced traditional lion dance. They had a dedicated master teaching them, so naturally, they picked up some basic martial arts along the way. According to my mom, the stuff they learned back then was the real deal, actual combat skills, not the flashy, impractical stuff you often see people doing today just for show. Those guys would feel my bones and watch how I ran around, and they actually thought I had a great physical foundation for martial arts. They said I was really sturdy and that it'd be a waste if I didn't train. So, they were seriously planning to drag me to their master to learn. But I fought it tooth and nail because, like I said, I was lazy and hated breaking a sweat. Believe it or not, I was actually a track champion in elementary school. But ironically, because I was so averse to hard work, I pretty much stopped exercising. I also stopped growing after the 5th grade. As a result, my health went downhill and I became terrible at sports. In middle school, we had PE exams, and I actually had to take remedial PE classes. Sigh. To be honest, I was so young back then that my memories are pretty fuzzy. I can only piece together a few vivid fragments. I do remember one night, one of the older guys was giving me a ride on the back of his bike to go find my mom. I was sitting on the back rack, absent-mindedly kicking my legs, when, accidentally, my foot got caught in the spokes of the wheel. At that moment, the guy felt some resistance and actually stood up on the pedals to push harder. Luckily, my reflexes were quick, and I yanked my foot out immediately, so the wheel just grazed my shoe. I was super chill about it. I just tugged at his shirt and said, "Hey, my foot just got caught in the wheel." He freaked out and practically slammed his feet on the ground to brake. Once we stopped, he immediately scooped me off the bike, repeatedly asking if my foot was okay and if it hurt. I was completely fine. I told him, "It doesn't hurt, it just scraped my shoe." But he wasn't taking any chances. He refused to ride the rest of the way. He put me back on the seat and just walked the bike over to the store. As soon as we got there, he immediately told my mom what happened. All the color drained from my mom's face. She rushed to check my foot, asking if it hurt. Again, I said, "No, it doesn't hurt. It just scraped my shoe." Neither of them believed me. They kept checking me over until they finally realized I really didn't have a scratch on me, and only then did they breathe a sigh of relief. Sometimes I feel like people get completely blinded by specific scenarios or trigger words. For example, the moment my mom and that guy heard the words foot caught in the bike wheel, it didn't matter how much I explained that it didn't hurt, that I pulled it out quickly, or that it just grazed my shoe. It was like they couldn't even hear me. They were completely trapped in their own heads, equating foot in the wheel with severe injury. But hey, I guess that's just what happens when people care about you. Panic takes over. Well, that's my little story for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Ping, a new YouTuber, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.